Hey everybody, it's Michael from Replica Air Guns doing another Umarex review for you today. Today we're looking at a combination. This is the T.A.C Converter with the XBG CO2 BB pistol included. This is going to be a little bit of a condensed review since I've already reviewed the T.A.C Converter on its own, as it does come by itself as well without a gun. And I've also reviewed the XBG CO2 BB pistol in another tabletop review. So I'll put links in here for you so you can check those reviews out as well. So let's get into some of the specifications, at least for the pistol portion of this combination. It's a non-blowback, mostly plastic constructed, and the T.A.C Converter, for that matter, is also mainly plastic as well. The XBG uses 12-gram CO2 cartridges, uses 4.5mm steel BBs, has a 4.25-inch non-rifled barrel, has the 19-shot dropout metal magazine. The XBG on its own is about 0.9 pounds or 400 grams. But with the T.A.C Converter wrapped around it, it does come in a bit heavier. The XBG shoots in double action only and has a claimed FPS of 410. Now the XBG on its own is not a replica, but it does look a lot like the Springfield XDM Compact. Now you do get this nice box, so you get the XBG box, T.A.C Converter, everything listed there, right? You can see here, semi-auto, Picatinny, rail, rear sight, is adjustable. Cool. Steel BBs, 12 gram CO2. And on the back, more information. Similar stuff here. So the rear sight is adjustable, which is cool. It does have a little front and back sight on that Picatinny rail. You can add a red dot, of course. We'll talk about that in a bit. Some more specs here. Alright, now inside the box you do get an Allen key. I guess this would be to take the gun out of the T.A.C Converter if you wanted to do so. You also get your manual, your Umarex manual, with all your information in there, how to line the gun up, sights up, how to load it, how to take care of it. You got information on the front foregrip. Everything's in here, specifications, warning instructions, all that kind of stuff. There's a picture of the XBG all on its own, magazine, in the gun there as well. Safety, everything's there. Now I do want to talk a little bit about the T.A.C Converter. Now when you buy it on its own, it does come with the following adapters to fit the following Umarex pistols. So it will fit the H&K USP, the Smith & Wesson M&P 40, of course the XBG since we have it in this version here, the CZ Enforcer, the Walther P99 double action only, and the discontinued SA177. Now keep in mind when you buy the combo kit here, which I have here, it doesn't come with the adapter. So if you do have a bunch of other Umarex guns that perhaps already fit the T.A.C Converter on its own, then you might want to buy just the T.A.C Converter and then add your gun to it. Alright, let's just do a quick walk around. I'm not going to take the XBG out, but we'll just look at how it fits in here. We've got our folding stock here on this side, and it just snaps in. So if you want to unsnap, or if you want to move it back in, you just push it down from the top, so you pull it up actually while you're pushing down with your thumb. Folds in. Okay, we'll keep it folded in for now. Well, maybe not. We've got our safety there on our XBG, so you're gonna want, you can get at it with it folded, but it's a little easier with it out. Okay, so keep it on safe because there is CO2 in here. Alright, you have Picatinny rail on the front there, on the side. We'll get to the top in a sec. Here's your cutout ejection port area. Right, we have this fold up or flip up foregrip. Got a little button in here. Alright, I'm not really going to show you too much about the trigger. Like I said, it's actually disengaged because the safety's on, but it is a double action trigger. All plastic gun. You can get to the CO2 nicely just by flipping this door up. It stays on, it doesn't flop around and come off and get lost, so that's great. Just have your standard plastic CO2 tab here. Pretty standard stuff, right? But it does flip up all by itself, which is nice, stays out of the way. Okay, so that looks really good. I mean, it's constructed well enough. It seems to work pretty good. We'll just pop that down for now. Again, we'll take a look at that Picatinny rail. For air gun and airsoft use only. You wouldn't want to put a real gun in here, even if it did fit. This is plastic. Can you imagine all the discharge coming out of here, all the flame and everything, and the pressure? It's probably just going to blow that apart. I would not want to use a real gun in here. It's just not sturdy enough. Okay, and see, these are the adapters that come with the T.A.C version. You've got different adapters that help fit the guns in, and they just sort of fit on the gun properly. So you want to make sure you use the right adapter if you're using the other T.A.C converter without the XBG. Okay, this rail does come off, by the way. Again, fits nice. See how it just locks into your hand like that? Snaps in nicely. You could probably put this on another gun if you wanted to. So you're getting a lot of value here for right under about, I think it's $58 in the Canada site right now for this whole thing. Got your Umarex branding. Let's take a look at the mag. Standard stick mag. These mags fit in a bunch of guns. You'll notice if you've got a gun that uses this magazine, you'll know exactly which mag it is. It fits a ton of the double action only baby pistols, the non-blowback guns. It's a very standard mag. Nice quality mag, so you can mix and match these mags with other guns. Alright, let's take a look at the top. Alright, got the white dot sights, Picatinny rail, and then you have white dot. Look at how thin that slot is. I'm going to be mentioning this when I go out and shoot the gun. The reason for that is because when you've got this sight really close to your face, you need it to be thin. Otherwise it's really wide because it's so close to you. So it needs to be that thin because this rear sight, when you have the stock back, is pretty close to your eye. A little hard to keep everything in focus though, because this is so close to your eye, and then this is somewhere in the middle, and then you've got this target way down there. Everything's a little bit out of focus when you're shooting. Okay, let's look at the back there. Alright, so at this point I'm going to head outside. All I'm going to be doing is wearing my pivot head HD camera glasses to capture what I'm doing out there, just to get an idea. I'm going to put 5 rounds through the chronograph, then step back 30 feet, shoot it at the target in a semi-rested position. I also do a quick full magazine dump from 20 feet out just to see how the stability, considering I've got the folding stock, just to see how stable it is when shooting kind of freehand in a quick manner. Alright, let's head outside and see how well this gun performs. Alright, so I'm all set up. I've got my T.A.C and my XBG combo here. Got the chrono set up. We got the target set up here. Now this is the condensed version. Just going to use the pivot head camera glasses to record this. Doing the condensed review here since we've already reviewed the T.A.C and the XBG on their own. And we're just going to see if it's comparable. I have a feeling we'll get a little bit tighter grouping with the stock, a little more stability. We'll see. I'll compare that to my original XBG target review and see what happens. But beat per second performance should really be the same. Alright, so we're going to shoot a few rounds here through the chronograph, see if I can get at least 5 readings here for you. Brand new CO2. Shot 1, 395. Shot 2, 390. Error. Okay, let's just reset this. It does sound different because the CO2 is going through the plastic shroud here. It's got like a popping sound. 401. 404. Last one. Alright, I'll average that out for you. So right around 400 feet per second. That's perfectly adequate for a BB shooter. It's not super warm today. I'm going to say maybe 15 degrees Celsius. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a very, very small slit back here. I'll show you in the tabletop review if I remember to. But the reason for the really small slit is because we're really close. With the pistol, normally you'd be way back here and you need a larger slit in the back or slot in the back. So now we're up close, so we need it to be really thin, otherwise it's going to be too wide. So the rear sights are very out of focus. Basically what I'm doing is I'm putting the front sight in focus, the rear sight's out of focus, and then the front sight or the target is actually a little bit out of focus for me right now. But let's see what we can do here. One more. Okay, I found that a little weird because everything was so out of focus. It was just so close for me. And I was shooting high, as you can see here. But if you were to put a red dot on here, it would be a lot better. Things would be in better focus, I think. Ideally what I'd want to do is put a red dot on here or some sort of a sight, whatever it be. It's just that this is just so close to me. Stability is great, but it's really hard to figure it out. Now where I think this gun will shoot well is just off the shoulder. Like, forget about resting it on anything, just sort of bring it up and shoot it. So we're gonna just, I don't know how many rounds I got left in here. I'll just empty the mag, and let's show you what I mean. I'm probably gonna be able to pop these in at 20 feet pretty good here. Just get them all in real tight. You can even use this guy here, get a really good hold here, and just go to town. We're already out of BBs. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just really quickly throw some BBs in here and just show you what I'm talking about here. Alright, so I filled up the magazine. We got, I think, 19 or 20 BBs in here. I'm just going to unload real quick here. Stability should be great, and let's see what happens. Alright. Now for whatever reason, it shot definitely more centered from 20 feet. Pretty much the same grouping as this, and I was just unloading really quick, as you can see. Hopefully you're getting all this. So, I mean, that's what this is going to help you with when you're freestanding and you're just shooting quick, because you're going to have the stability of having this locked into your shoulder like I have it right here. So let's head back inside and finish up this review. Alright, so the T.A.C Converter / XBG combo performed pretty reasonable for me out in my quick shooting field test there that I did. And we got right around 400 feet per second, so not too bad really. Pretty close to the 410 claimed by Umarex, and it wasn't really a super hot day, so I could easily see it hitting over 400, 410, 420, no problem. I did get about a 2.5 inch shot group when I shot from 30 feet out in a semi-rested position. Now the reason for that, I think it can do better, is that I was really having a lot of trouble focusing on the target, the front sight, and the rear sight simultaneously, because that rear sight was literally a few inches away from my eye. So try to focus on that, and then a target 30 feet down, and then this front sight that's about 1.5 feet, well, roughly a foot, maybe 1.5 feet further out. So it was really tough to keep everything in focus. Now if you put a red dot on here, you're going to be able to keep everything in focus much better, and I think the gun would perform a lot better using a red dot or even a laser for that matter. Now I did shoot it from 20 feet away really quickly, sort of offhand, freehand, just with the shoulder stock, rapid fire mode, and I got a similar grouping, 2.5 inches. Mind you, we were closer up, but I was shooting really fast, and I wasn't rested on any type of pad. So that goes to sort of show you that the shoulder stock does aid in shooting more accurately. Alright, let's talk about some of the pros and the cons. This is a very low cost package when you consider you get the XBG and the T.A.C Converter for just under $60. You also get that fore-grip that you could take off, put on other guns if you want to. Now the folding stock allows for very secure sight hold and consistent shot placement when shooting rapid fire. The CO2 tab is fairly well hidden, and the CO2 is easy to access with that flip up open door. Super easy to change CO2s, and you're not going to lose the door either because it's attached. It's on a swivel. Now there's a lot of rails on this gun. They're on the top, they're on the bottom, they're on the sides because you have that T.A.C Converter. So you can put pretty much whatever accessory you want on here. In my opinion, I'd probably attach a small red dot sight to it. That would really help getting everything in focus and getting this gun to be as accurate as you could make it. Now the top rail also has the front and back post and notch sights ready to go, and the rear sight is adjustable for windage, so if it's shooting a little left or right, you can make slight adjustments for it if you need to. As with a lot of these double action BB pistols, it has this universal style metal stick magazine, so if you have other guns with similar magazines, then you can just mix and match, preload a bunch before you go out shooting, and have a great time with less reloads. Now the Umarex XBG, like many of the other double action BB pistols, uses a rather unique system. So in other words, what happens is when you pull the trigger, the barrel actually moves forward, allowing a BB to be chambered, and then as that barrel snaps back, so when you hit the release portion of the trigger, it then actuates the valve, similar to how a hammer striking a firing pin would work, launching that BB. So you have a nice, efficient, simple operation that works well, costs a lot less to produce, and should be mechanically trouble-free for the life of the gun. Now when I shot the XBG in both reviews, it got similar results, and overall it gets good FPS, lots of shots per CO2, and pretty decent accuracy, so a nice combination of the three. And don't forget the T.A.C Converter / XBG combo does come with the fore-grip which you can use on pretty much any gun that has a rail. Alright, a couple cons. You're looking at a pretty much all plastic constructed solution here. The gun is pretty much all plastic. The T.A.C converter is pretty much all plastic, but it seems to be reasonable quality. I didn't have any problems with it. Now, you're not going to find a lot of actual working parts, especially in the XBG. In terms of the T.A.C converter itself, there's not going to be a lot of moving parts on there. Anyways, you have the folding stock, you have the fold-up foregrip, so what else can you really ask for there? Now, with these double-action BB pistols, the double-action trigger is kind of long, but it's not overly heavy, so it's very usable. Alright, that wraps up this tabletop and field test condensed review for the T.A.C converter / XBG combo. Don't forget to check out those individual reviews, the T.A.C converter review and my XBG review on their own. Also check me out on Facebook and Twitter. Username is Replica Airguns, and come on down to replicaAirguns.com where we have articles, posts, reviews, and lots of photos of these products for you. Check out. And of course we have our Canada and US online Replica Airgun stores where we sell air guns, BB guns, blank guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, knives, and other accessories. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.